Good day, children. I am teacher Sulin Rodrigues. I hope all of you are fine and keeping in good health by the grace of God. I will be teaching standard 8th, 9th and 10th grammar based on vocabulary building. The topics that I will be covering today are acrostics, anagrams, compound words, collocations, homographs and homophones, word chain, word register and word web, and participles. Before we begin, you will need to keep a pen and your 200 pages grammar book ready. You will write grammar in this book that you were asked to maintain. You will also prepare an index in your book mentioning these topics. You will write each topic on a new page. Finally, write down everything that you see in this video. We will now begin with our grammar lessons. The first topic that we will be covering is acrostics. What is an acrostic? An acrostic is a text comprising of words or a short sentence in which the first letter of the text spells out a word, a name, a message, or a quotation. Examples of an acrostic are given here. Take, for example, the word fruit. Every letter of this word is used to form a new word. Like we have taken the letter F and we've written fleshy. We've taken the next letter R and the word is refreshing that we've made out of this letter. We took the next letter U and a word that we made from this letter is unique. We move on to the next letter, which is I. And the word that we formed using this letter is impeccable. The last letter was T. And the word that we formed using this letter was tasty. In a similar manner, let's do the other example. That is candy. We took the first letter and the new word that we formed using this letter was chewy. We took the next letter A and the word that we formed using this letter was awesome. We took the next letter N and the word that we formed was nice. The next letter in this word is D. And the word that we formed using D is delicious. The last letter in this word was Y. And the word that we formed using Y was yummy. So this is how you form acrostics. Now, how do you write an acrostic? Think of a word that describes a person, place, idea, or thing. Write down that word. Then put down each letter of that word on different lines. Think of a word related to that particular poem or text or word, where the starting letter of that word or text has to be written down on the lines. Once you have written down all the letters on different lines, the next thing that you would do is think of words that you would form using those letters. In other words, you write down the words on the lines of those letters. This is how you frame an acrostic. Now, for your assignment, what you would do is form acrostics using the words hope, gift, and life. We move on to the next topic. That is anagram. What is an anagram? An anagram is a kind of word play where a new word or phrase is formed by rearranging all the letters of the original word or phrase. The original word or phrase is called the subject of the anagram. So what we do is take this original word or phrase, that is the subject, and we rearrange all the letters that form this word and use them to form another word which has a totally different meaning. Examples are given here. Like, for example, we have taken the word silent. Using all the letters that form this word, we have formed another word, listen. Or the next example, selves. Using all the letters that were used to form the word selves, we have formed a new word, vessel. Look at the word ladies. Using all the letters that went on to make up the word ladies, we have formed a new word, ideals. This is how an anagram is constructed. The exercise that you have for this topic is you need to write down anagrams for the following words: sleet, earth, agree, corals, nearest, and setting. We move on to the next topic, which is compound words. What are compound words? Compound words are a combination of words. Now, when a combination of words is used, generally two words, or if two words are joined together to form a new word, that new word is called a compound word. For example, we have this word cup, and we have another word cake. When you combined both of them together, they formed a new word totally different from the original words. That is cupcake. Similarly, we took a word brain and another word storm. When we combined them together, or we joined them together, they formed a new word with a totally different meaning, and that is brainstorm. And then we took another word, out, and another word, law. We joined them together or combined them together to form a new word with another meaning, that is outlaw. There's one more example. We took the word whole and we also used the word sail. When you combined both these words together, it formed a new word, wholesale. So you see, compound words are a combination of two words. You have different types of compound words. The first one is a closed compound. That is, it is a one word compound word. For example, when you take the word black and you take the other word board and you join them together, you get a new word, blackboard. If you observe this new word, blackboard, it is written as one complete word, which is not separated. Similarly, when we took the word sun and we took the word flower and we combined them together, we got a new word, sunflower, which was joined together completely. They weren't separated. Such kind of compound words are called closed compounds. Then you have an open compound. That's a two-word compound words. For example, when you take the word ice and another word cream, it forms a totally different word, ice cream. But notice the difference between the first type of words and these words. Over here, the word ice is separated from the word cream. It does not mean that these are two separate words. They are one word, but they are not exactly joined. Similarly, when you take the word report and you take another word card and you join them together, they form a new word, report card. But that word is not joined in the middle. They are separated from each other. So such kind of compound words are called open compound. And they are made up of two words. The third type of compound word is the hyphenated compound. It has a hyphen in the middle. For example, when you take the word well and you take another word, being, and you combine them together, they form the word well-being, which is a hyphenated word. It has a hyphen in the middle. Similarly, when you take the word merry and another word go and the third word round and you combine them together, they form a new word, merry-go-round. If you look at this new word, it too is a hyphenated word. That is, it has hyphens in between. So these are examples of hyphenated compounds. So what we've seen is different kinds of compound words. Now for your assignment, what you will do is give 3 examples of each type of compound word. That is, you will give 3 examples of a closed compound, 3 examples of an open compound, and 3 examples of a hyphenated compound. We move on to the next topic, which is collocations. Now, what are collocations? Collocations are words that are used together or that usually go together. They are used in everyday language as a form of expression. For example, the dress I bought was a little expensive. A little expensive is a collocation. It's a form of expression, which means it was quite expensive. Take the next example. I have a very demanding job. Demanding job is a collocation. It means a job that requires a lot of hard work or effort or time. But instead of saying, I have a job that requires a lot of effort or time or it involves a lot of hard work, we express it colloquially using demanding job. Take the next example. I try to keep in touch with my friends even now. The collocation keep in touch means stay connected with. Take the next example. She is one of my closest friends. Closest friends means good friends. But in order to express ourselves in a better manner, we use the term closest friends. These are all examples of collocations. Note, almost any of the parts of speech can be used together to form collocations. You could have an adjective and a noun combination. For example, a great achievement. Here, great is an adjective and achievement is a noun. Or the collocation a long journey. Long is an adjective while journey is a noun. You could form adverbs and adjectives together as colloquial words. For example, terribly cold, where terribly is an adverb and cold is an adjective. Or take, for example, the collocation extremely important. Extremely is an adverb and important is an adjective. So you could use adverbs and adjectives to form collocations. Collocations can also be formed using a noun-noun combination. Like, for example, a pile of clothes, where a pile is a noun and clothes also is a noun. Or take, for example, the collocation market trends, where market also is a noun and trends, which means fashion, is also a noun. You could have another kind of collocation or another kind of combination to form collocations using verbs and nouns. Like, for example, to build trust. Here, to build is a verb, while trust is a noun. Or take, for example, the expression to meet deadlines. Here, to meet is a verb, while deadlines is a noun. There are many other kind of combinations that can be used to form collocations. Now, the exercise that you have for collocations is that you will find as many collocations as possible for the following words: totally, take, beautiful, and remember, time, and finally, sadly. We move on to the next topic, which is homographs and homophones. Now, what are homographs? Homographs are words that have the same spelling and pronunciation, but they have a totally different meaning. Let us take the example of the word pupil. Pupil is spelled the same. It is pronounced the same in two of those cases there. But the word has two different meanings. In the first case, pupil means a student. For example, the pupil played truant from school. In case of the second example, the word is again pupil, spelled and pronounced in a similar manner. But the meaning is completely different. In this case, it would mean a part of the iris of the eye. For example, the pupil of his eye showed some damage. So you see, it's one word which is spelled the same, pronounced in a similar manner, but it has totally different meanings. Let's take another example. Let's use the word firm. The word firm has two meanings. One is it's an organized business. Like when you are saying, Mr. Sam works for an electronics firm. While in the second case, the word firm would mean strong intention or a strong will or strong determination. Like in the case of this sentence, she was very firm about joining the army. So you see in these examples, the word firm has two different meanings, but it is spelled and pronounced in a similar manner. These are examples of homographs. Your assignment based on homographs is this. You will write down 5 homographs of your own and also use them in a sentence of your own to show the difference in their meaning, as shown in the examples that have been given to you. We come now to another kind of a word, and that is homophones. Now, what are homophones? They too are words that sound the same, but they are spelled differently and have different meanings. For example, let's take the word bear. Bear sounds the same, but it is spelled differently. It could be B-A-R-E, which means empty, like in the case of this sentence, the castle seemed to be bare. Or the word bear, spelled B-E-A-R, which should mean to tolerate. Like in the sentence, I could not bear to see such grave injustice. So you see, the words bear and bear sound the same, but they are spelled so differently and they have completely different meanings. Let's take another example. Let's take the word lesson. One is Lesson and the other is Lessen. These words are pronounced similarly, that is, lesson, but they are spelled differently and have totally different meanings. In the first case, lesson means something that is learned. Like in the example, the pupils learned their lesson very well. While in the second case, lesson means to become less. Like in the sentence, his pain will lessen as time goes by. So you see, the word lesson is pronounced in a similar manner, but it is spelled differently and has totally different meanings. Now your assignment based on homophones is this. You will write down 5 homophones of your own and you will use them in a sentence of your own to show the difference in their meaning. We move on to another kind of word building activity, and that is forming word chains. Now, what is a word chain? A word chain is a series of words, that is, where words follow each other, and the last letter of the word is used to form a new word. That is, in other words, the last letter of a word becomes the first letter of the next word. These words usually belong to a particular part of speech. Let's take, for example, the word chain that we could form using the word deliver. Now, deliver ends with the letter R. This letter R is used to form the starting letter of the next word, that is recruit. Recruit ends with the letter T. This letter is then used to form the starting letter of the next word, that is think. Think ends with K. K is used to form the starting letter of the next word, no. If you've observed very carefully, all these are verbs. Let's try another example. Let's take the word lethal. Lethal ends with the letter L. Using this letter L, we form another word, the starting of which begins with L, and that is large. Now, large ends with the letter E. Using E, we formed the next letter, that is earnest. The letter T is the last letter of the word earnest. Using this letter T, we form the next word, technical, where the starting letter is T. Again, if you had to observe this, you will see they're all adjectives. This is how a word chain is formed. Now, this is how word chains could be formed, or the different kinds of word chains. You can form a word chain with adjectives, like we've already done in the example that was shown. Another example of a word chain using adjectives is given here. For example, we've taken the word tasteful. It ends with the letter L, and the letter L is used to form the next adjective, that is lengthy. Lengthy ends with the letter Y, and this letter Y is used to form the next adjective, which is young. The word young ends with the letter G, and G is used to form the starting letter of the next adjective, which is gentle. The next kind of word chain is forming a word chain using adverbs. For example, almost is an adjective. Almost ends with the letter T. This letter T is then used to form the starting letter of the next word or the next adverb, tomorrow. Now, this adverb tomorrow ends with the letter W. W is used to form the next adverb, that is wisely. Wisely ends with the letter Y. Y is used to form the starting letter of the next adverb, that is yesterday. You can form word chains using abstract nouns. For example, education. The noun education ends with the letter N. We use this letter N to form another abstract noun, and that is need. Need ends with the letter D. We use this letter D to form the starting letter of the next abstract noun, that is defeat. Defeat ends with the letter T. We use this letter T to form the next abstract noun, that is talent. You could also form word chains using verbs, like we've already done. But in the case of verbs, you should make note of this rule. You can only use the root word. For example, complete. The verb complete ends with the letter E. We use this letter E to form the next word, that is encourage. Now, encourage once again ends with the letter E. We use this letter E to form the next word, that is extend. Extend ends with the letter D. We use this letter D to form the starting letter of the next verb, that is discover. So we see how to form word chains. Now for your assignment, you will complete the following word chain of adjectives using the adjective break, and you will also complete the word chain using the verb return. We move on to the next topic in word building, that is word register and word web. Now, what is a word register? A word register is a group of words that are connected in some way to a particular topic. For example, if we take the word nature, now words that could be connected to nature are flora, fauna, rivers, trees, mountains, birds, human beings, wildlife, environment. There are so many words. Similarly, if you take the word school, now words that are connected to school are students, teachers, classrooms, benches, playground, blackboard, books, and so many other words. This is called a word register. We move on to the next topic, that is word web. What is a word web? A word web is a diagrammatic representation of a word register. That is, it's a word register, only in this case, you're representing that connection or series of words which are connected to a particular word in the form of a diagram. In this case, in the form of a web. For example, if we had to take the word nature again, you see the web that has been formed for nature. Words connected to nature are again flora, fauna, rivers, trees. But now these words are represented in the form of a web. This is an example of a word web. Now for your assignment, what you would do is form a word register for the following words and use these words to also prepare a web diagram. That means you will use these words for both to prepare a word register and to also prepare a web diagram. The words that you will use are student, trees, friend, and railway station. The next topic that we have as part of word building is participles. Now, what is a participle? A participle is a non-finite verb. That is, it is not a tensed verb. It does not have a particular tense. Now, this verb also acts as an adjective at the same time. Therefore, participles are also called verbal adjectives because they do the work of an action and they also are describing words. Examples of participles, which are of two types, are past participles or ed participles and present participles or ing participles. For example, completed and danced. These verbs are non-finite verbs. That is, they are past participles or ed participles. Now, there are some past participles or ed participles where the last letter of the root word is doubled before adding ed. For example, jog, which is the root word. The last letter of jog is G. This letter is doubled before you adding ed. Let's take the next word, plan. The letter N is the last word of plan. This letter N is doubled before adding ed to it to make the word planned. Or let's take the word shop, in which P is the last letter. P is doubled before adding ed to make the past participle of the word shop, shopped. For your assignment, you will form 5 past participles in which the last letter is doubled. We move on to present participles or ing participles, examples of which are completing and dancing. There are present participles where the last letter of the root word is doubled before adding ing. For example, jog. Now the last letter of jog is again G. It is doubled before adding ing to it to form the present participle of jog, that is jogging. Similarly, in the word plan, the last letter is N. This letter N has been doubled before adding ing to form the present participle of the word plan, that is planning. Let's look at the next example, which is shop. The last letter of the word shop is shopping. Is P. The last letter of the word shop is P. Now, to form the present participle of shop, the letter P has been doubled before adding ing to it. So this is how a present participle where the root word is doubled is formed. For your assignment, form 5 present participles in which the last letter is doubled.